Strictly music, only music, and nothing else. And today we're going to go ahead and get into another hot topic. I want to talk about the problem with drill music. Now, drill music, some say it originated in Chicago, and that's where it really got its shine. But as you can see now, it's in places like the UK. It's very prominent in New York these days. Chicago still has a very heavy drill music scene, and you can even see it in other places like China and Africa. So what is the problem with drill music? And I'm going to tell you that there's two problems here. There's one problem on a musical front, sonically, acoustically, and just overall when it comes to the sound of it. And then there's another problem with the history and the reason why it exists. So strictly music, only music, nothing else. Go ahead, get in the comments. Let me know what you think about the things that I'm about to tell you. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into it. So the easiest thing with drill music, when we talk about the problem with it, let's just get it out the way when it comes to the sonics and the acoustics and the overall sound of the music. Drill music can get a bit repetitive. Now, the Chicago scene is a bit more diverse because it is the forefather of the drill scene. However, drill music is notoriously repetitive, and from artist to artist, we don't see much variation or difference. However, there are some standalone acts like the forefather, or sometimes referred to as the godfather of drill, Chief Keef. We also have artists like Pop Smoke. We also have drill artists like K-Flock, and there's a few more boys out of the UK that also rose to prominence. So we do have these breakout acts that kind of reinvented the drill sound and put their own swag on it. You get in the comments and tell me if I missed anyone that changed the sound of drill music. I'm not simply just naming drill rappers. I'm naming rappers that either pioneered a new version of that sound or just overall changed the sound. And when it comes to Chief Keef, he is heralded as the godfather of drill. So drill rap can become a bit repetitive. That is the problem with the sound. However, the interesting part of this conversation comes in with my second point on what's wrong with drill music. And I like to call it the perception. The perception of drill music, to me, is the biggest issue with drill music. It's the perception of it. And let me go ahead and explain to you what I mean. How drill music is perceived is probably the biggest problem with drill music. Now, drill music is predominantly ran by and cultivated by, in other words, promoted by the most marginalized group in America, which is young black men. And nowadays we also have, and before, we have some young black women along with it. And we do have some other minorities as well as some Caucasian Americans that have hopped on the wave. But majority of drill artists are the marginalized young black men. Now, drill music is a subgenre of rap. It is by no stretch of the imagination the most dominant form of rap music. Now, I know it may appear that way sometimes, especially in the New York scene, but we don't have many drill songs on these charts compared to how many are being created. A lot of these artists are hood famous. There's a few breakout stars, but other than that, they're very localized to their borough, to their streets, to their blocks, and to their areas. My problem with drill music is that it is perceived, and it has been perceived in recent years, as one of the biggest problems that we face as black people, and one of the biggest problems we face as a culture. Now, I do agree that this music does promote certain things: violence, anarchy, and it does also promote death. However, the most marginalized group in America are the ones predominantly promoting these things. We attack drill music as the cause, but we do not understand the real reason why drill music even exists. These individuals that have latched on to that style and genre of music are simply putting out what they see and what they have access to. Look at the areas that drill music became prominent. This is the lifestyle of those individuals. And instead of changing the circumstance and or the lifestyle of the individuals that are creating this music, we attack the creation of that lifestyle and we demonize the music itself. Now, by no stretch of the imagination is this a healthy art form of music for the modern listener. However, when you make music for war, you have to be in war. And these are wars that the average citizen and or listener may not fully understand. And when you make music to go to war to, you go to war. The average radio host, the average listener, the average music critic cannot begin to understand the intricacies of some of this music. Now, when we travel the world culturally, they have their own sounds. When you go to Africa, they have African drumming. When you go overseas, maybe to Ireland and stuff like that, they have the bagpipes and the line dancing. When you go to these poverty-stricken, project-ridden, death-ridden places of these overpopulated, over-scrutinized areas such as Chicago, such as the underbellies of the UK, such as the boroughs of New York, when in Rome, you do what the Romans do. The music that has risen from those areas has been taken as the issue, when in reality, it's the areas that allow that music to be created. And we see certain instances like the mayor of New York and other radio hosts attacking New York drill personally, as if it is the sole reason why some of these things are happening. Now, a tire fire is just that. It's a tire fire. It's going to continue to burn. But we have to attack the flame. We have to attack the flame that is these marginalized groups in these overpopulated, under-resourced areas. Culture breeds music. And if you don't like the sound of the music, the culture may not be for you. Drill music has allowed a lot of these marginalized youth to get enough money to maneuver through these areas, if not move themselves, move their friends and or family from these areas. So my problem with drill music is how it is perceived. The same way rock and roll was. The same way a lot of this music was when it first came into creation. The same thing with NWA. And they said it themselves. This is our life that we're rapping about. So the answer of the masses is to continue to scrutinize the creation of an already scrutinized and marginalized group of over-oppressed and underfunded and under-resourced young black men, to take away one of the only outlets they have of expression, which is the form of drill music. And this is strictly music, only music and nothing else. We listen to all music: drill music, country music, rap music, white music, black music, Asian music. The list goes on and on and on. I spend my days ad nauseum listening to all shape, forms, and facets of music in an attempt to bring my ideology and bring my thoughts to my channel and to those around me. If we're talking about the sound itself, it is repetitive, and there's not a lot of breakout stars from the drill music scene. That's my critique musically. My critique overall with drill music is how it's perceived. Drill music is a byproduct of the environment of the most marginally oppressed group in America. Inner city black youths. Ladies and gentlemen, look at your creation when you criticize the music that your creation created. I'm going to let that one sit while I take a sip from my drink here. I'll take another one while that sits. Ladies and gentlemen, look at your creation when you critique what your creation created. We say to these young youths that they promote the violence. These are the same youths that were exposed to the violence as youths. Do we attack the violence or do we attack the youth? We have to understand that music is an art form and it is expressive. Excuse me. That'll tie your tongue. It is very expressive and is a reflection of your lifestyle. Tell me when we're going to attack the cause instead of the illness itself. When are we going to attack the cause? To look at this group of individuals as if they're any different from the other group of individuals, that's what they've always experienced throughout the entirety of their lives, and they carried it over into their career. To oppress further a group of already oppressed individuals, or to scrutinize a group that has already been under scrutiny for the entirety of their lives, I don't see the benefit in it. I don't see the benefit in it at all. We have to look at this art form because it is exactly that. It is an art form. The same way we look at any other art form. Art is alive and it is expressive, and it may not always come in the forms that you condone or the forms that you can understand. But there is a group of individuals, be it large or small in America, that can relate to what this genre of music, this subgenre of music is saying and or portraying. We have a habit of demonizing the musical forms that we don't agree with as if they're the cause. Now, do they contribute to the overall problem? I would say so. But we have to attack the cause with the same intensity that we attack the illness. My biggest problem with drill music is how it is perceived. Water in a desert is what this art form is to a lot of kids with no other means out of their situation. And I cannot in good conscience belittle that art form, whether I agree with it or disagree. I may not agree, with the art form rock and roll sometimes. I may not want to wear the clothes that they wear. I may not want to do some of the things that they do, but I understand that this is a genre of life, and I have to look at it as just that, as a genre of life, as an art form from a place that I may not be too familiar with. So get in the comments and let me know, what is the biggest problem with drill music, and why is it perceived in the way that it is? The two problems for me musically is the repetition of it. I believe that there's not enough diversity. There's a few breakout artists, but other than that, I feel like the sound is pretty much uniform from artist to artist. I would like to see a little bit more diversity, and I do feel like more diversity is coming out of that genre. But to me, the biggest problem with drill music is how it's perceived. When looking at music, we must admire it with an open mind. This is a being that lives and breathes just as we all do, and we can't turn away any shape, form, or facet of that being without the bare minimum fully understanding why that being came into existence. Strictly music, only music and nothing else. Like, comment, subscribe, get in the comments and let me know what you think. I'm here for it all.